My friends, as Joel S. Goldsmith would often address you, not as strangers or seekers, but as fellow travelers on the path, as the consciousness through which the infinite expresses itself. For years, a whisper has been circling the edges of your awareness, a quiet knowing that there is a specific role, a unique assignment that you alone are here to fulfill. You have felt it in the hollow spaces, in the moments the world felt out of sync, a faint signal trying to break through the static of daily life. This message, this divine memo with your name on it, was blocked, not by some external force, but by the accumulated noise of a world that taught you to look for answers anywhere but within. But a blocked signal does not cease to exist. It builds pressure. It gathers force until the vessel can no longer contain it. And now the static is clearing. What you have called coincidence, a lucky break, a sudden insight, that was the first crack in the dam. The chosen one is not a title bestowed upon a solitary figure in a distant prophecy. It is the fundamental truth of your own being awakened. It is the recognition that you are the specific, intentional focus through which the one life chooses to experience and express itself as you. And the message that was blocked for years is now erupting into your consciousness, not as a gentle suggestion, but with the force of a cosmic event. The only question that remains is not if you are the one, but what you will do now that you know. If this resonance has found its mark in you, if you feel the truth of this not as a concept, but as a memory awakening, then let this be your first conscious act of alignment. Let your IS be recorded in the comments below with the symbolic number As 11 I's, a number of new beginnings and spiritual revelation. Subscribe to this channel, for this is not a destination, but a gathering point for those who are ready to decode the message fully. And share this so the others who have been waiting in the silence may find their signal too. A quiet, knowing that there's a specific role, a unique assignment that you alone are here to fulfill. This is the blocked signal. It is not a failure to hear, but a necessary sacred interference. For years, perhaps for your entire life, you have been tuning your radio to the wrong frequency, searching for your purpose on the crowded, chaotic channels of the world, the channel of academic achievement, the channel of financial success, the channel of social approval, the channel of religious dogma. You have been listening intently to these external broadcasts, trying to find the one that would tell you who you are and why you are here. And all the while, there was a faint, persistent transmission coming from within your own being, a broadcast on a private, internal frequency that the noise of the world successfully jammed. This blocking was not a punishment, nor was it a mistake in the divine plan. It was a crucial part of your soul's curriculum. You had to exhaust the outer world. You had to discover for yourself, through direct experience, that the answers you seek are not found in a career, a relationship, a bank account, or a doctrine. You had to feel the profound emptiness that comes from achieving a worldly goal only to find it rings hollow. That hollow feeling, that subtle disappointment, was the first crack in the dam. It was the proof that you were listening to the wrong station. The blockage, therefore, was a form of grace, a fierce, compassionate grace that allowed you to tire yourself out, searching everywhere else, so that you would finally, in a moment of quiet surrender, turn the dial inward. This internal signal is your divine assignment. It is not a job description. It is not a predefined path you must struggle to follow. It is a specific quality of consciousness that you are ordained to embody and express in this realm. It is your unique note in the grand symphony of existence. No one else can sound it. If you do not sound it, there is a silence in the universe. that can never be filled. This assignment is the reason for your particular set of sensitivities, your deepest joys, your most perplexing struggles, and even the nature of the temptations that pull at you. They are all clues pointing toward the core frequency you are here to broadcast. The message that was blocked was the clear, uninterrupted knowledge of this assignment. It was the conscious awareness of your true name and function. For years, you may have felt this as a nagging sense of being out of place, a feeling that you are waiting for your real life to begin, a vague homesickness for a home you cannot name. You interpreted this as something being wrong with you. But nothing was wrong. You were simply experiencing the dissonance between the noisy, jamming signals of the world and the pure, clear signal of your own soul, which was all the while patiently waiting for the interference to cease. The longing you felt was not a pathology. It was the signal itself pressing against the walls of its confinement, reminding you of what you already know and what you have always been. The longing you felt was not a pathology. It was the signal itself pressing against the walls of its confinement. This pressure builds until a shift becomes inevitable. The clearing of the static is not an event that happens to you from the outside, as if a divine hand simply flips a switch. It is an internal realignment, a conscious and often gradual turning of the dial within your own awareness. It is the moment you stop trying to boost the volume on the world's channels and instead, in a state of quiet exhaustion or profound insight, you begin to listen to the silence between the noises. This is the critical transition from seeking to receiving. Seeking is an active, outward thrust of energy. It is the mind's frantic effort to find, to grasp, to achieve, to understand. It is the pilgrim traveling to a distant shrine, the student accumulating endless texts, the devotee performing complex rituals in the hope of earning a glimpse of truth. There is a noble intensity to seeking, but it is ultimately rooted in the belief that what you are looking for is outside of yourself, separate from you, and must be acquired. This very belief is the primary source of the static. It creates a feedback loop of lack, of not being enough, of not having arrived. The seeker is always on a journey, but never at the destination. Receiving, in contrast, is a state of humble, open-handed allowing. It is not passivity. It is the highest form of active cooperation with grace. It is the understanding that the signal you have been straining to hear is not distant, but is in fact the very ground of your being. It is the recognition that the broadcaster and the receiver are one and the same. When this realization dawns, the frantic search ceases. You stop asking the universe, "What is my purpose?" And you begin to declare to the universe, "I am here, conscious and available. Reveal through me what I am." This is the posture of the chalice, waiting to be filled rather than the hunter striving for a capture. The clearing static, then, is the dissolving of the illusion of separation. The interference was never real in an absolute sense. It was the product of a misidentified focus. As you withdraw your attention from the cacophony of seeking and rest it in the quiet certainty of your own being, the static simply loses its power. The signal, which was always present, begins to come through with a new clarity. Insights arrive not as monumental discoveries, but as gentle, self-evident truths. Synchronicities become a regular part of your daily experience, no longer startling coincidences, but the natural grammar of a conscious universe in conversation with itself. The right book finds you, the perfect teacher appears, the necessary circumstance unfolds, not because you forced it, but because you became transparent to the flow of a guidance that was always there. You are no longer a seeker on the path. You have realized you are the path, and the destination is simultaneously walking itself into being through you. You have realized you are the path, and the destination is simultaneously walking itself into being through you. This is the profound and often misunderstood truth of the chosen one. The human mind, conditioned by myth and cinema, hears this phrase and conjures images of a solitary, heroic figure set apart from the masses, destined for a unique and glorious struggle. It is a concept of specialness, of being the one in a billion, an idea that can feel simultaneously alluring and alienating. But this is a fundamental misperception, a final piece of static on the line. The chosen one is not a title bestowed upon a rare few. It is the unveiled reality of all conscious life. It is not a status to be achieved, but a truth to be recognized. To be chosen implies a chooser. This is not a selection process where a capricious God picks favorites, blessing some and ignoring others. The chooser is the infinite, impersonal life principle itself. The one consciousness, the divine mind, the absolute, and its method of choice is not exclusion, but expression. It chooses to express itself as every single facet of creation. It chooses to know itself as the mountain and the river, as the star and the void, and in a most intimate and focused way as you. Your being, your very awareness is the evidence of this choice. You are not a random collection of stardust that has accidentally become self-aware. You are a specific, intentional, and utterly unique focal point through which the infinite is experiencing and expressing its own nature. Your particular lens is unlike any other that has ever existed or will ever exist. Therefore, the moment you feel that stirring within, that sense of a deeper calling, that is not your ego wishing for importance. It is the infinite recognizing itself in you. It is the chooser confirming the chosen. The journey is not about becoming the chosen one, but about waking up to the fact that you have always been so. It is the shift from seeing yourself as a separate, isolated self navigating a vast and often hostile universe to understanding yourself as the universe itself, localized into this particular point of view for a divine purpose. Your life, with all its joys and sorrows, its triumphs and failures, is not a test you must pass to earn this title. It is the unfolding curriculum, the very experience through which the one life is discovering a new dimension of its own being through your eyes, your heart, your consciousness. This realization shatters the last vestiges of the seeker. There is no longer anyone to seek and nothing to find. There is only the continuous, moment by moment act of being what you already are, consciously and fully. The pressure to find your purpose evaporates, replaced by the quiet, confident imperative to be your purpose. Your assignment is not a list of tasks. It is the quality of presence you bring to every task, every interaction, every breath. It is the unconditional love you allow to flow through you when faced with fear, the truth you speak when surrounded by illusion, the peace you embody in the midst of chaos. You are the instrument, and the divine is the musician. The chosen one does not play the instrument. The chosen one is the hollowed out reed through which the breath of the infinite makes its music. Of the chosen one is the hollowed out reed through which the breath of the infinite makes its music. This understanding brings us to the very mechanics of this divine expression. You are the focus of the one life. Consider the sun in the sky. It does not pick and choose which leaves to warm, which landscapes to illuminate. It shines indiscriminately, and its light is available to all. Yet, when you take a magnifying glass and angle it with precise intention, you can focus that same general sunlight into a single, potent, transformative point of ignition. The sun is the one life, the infinite, omnipresent source consciousness. your individual awareness, your I am-ness is that magnifying glass. You are the apparatus, the specific focal point where the diffuse, universal light of God converges into a coherent, purposeful, and creative beam. This is the sacred function of your individual sense of self. It is not an error to be transcended, but an instrument to be rightly used. The ego, when operating in misalignment, believes it is the source of the light itself. It claims the flame as its own creation, and in doing so, it inevitably burns out, exhausted by its own limited fuel. But the ego, rightly understood, is simply the holder of the lens. Its job is not to generate the power, but to align the instrument so that the universal power can flow through it without obstruction, creating a focused point of healing, revelation, or creation in the world of form. You are not the sun, but you are an essential, intentional mechanism for focusing its rays. To be the focus means that wherever you are, whatever you are doing, the One Life is there, seeking to express its nature through you. In a moment of conflict, it seeks to express itself as reconciliation. In a moment of despair, it seeks to express itself as a comforting presence. In a moment of confusion, it seeks to express itself as clarity. Your life circumstances are not random hurdles on an obstacle course. They are the very situations, the specific raw materials upon which the focused light of the infinite wishes to shine. Your office, your home, your relationships. These are the altars where this sacred focusing occurs. The divine does not only speak through grand visions and mystical experiences, it speaks through your focused attention on a spreadsheet, through your focused patience with a child, through your focused integrity in a difficult conversation. This is why your unique combination of talents, traumas, and temperament is so vital. The lens is ground in a particular way. Your history has shaped its curvature. Your passions determine its angle. The One Life requires a nearly infinite variety of lenses to fully express the totality of its being. A lens of compassion focuses a quality of light than a lens of intellectual rigor. A lens forged in grief focuses a different light than one shaped in joy. None is superior, all are essential. Your personal journey of self-discovery, then, is not a narcissistic endeavor. It is the process of polishing your lens, of cleaning away the dust of false identity and societal conditioning, so that you can become a clearer, sharper, more precise focus for the one light that animates us all. The message that is now coming through is the direct result of this polishing, this conscious alignment, allowing a purer, more potent beam of the infinite to now ignite the world immediately in front of you. Oh, allowing a purer, more potent beam of the infinite to now ignite the world immediately in front of you. This ignition is the eruption. For years, the signal was a whisper, a gentle but persistent tapping on the window pane of your consciousness, easily ignored amidst the din of daily life. You may have mistaken it for a daydream, a fleeting inspiration, or even a personal failing, a proof of your own inability to find peace. But a whisper, when consistently acknowledged, gathers weight. It builds resonance. The quiet tapping becomes a rhythmic knocking, and then a steady, insistent pressure that can no longer be dismissed. What was once a subtle suggestion from the soul now announces itself with the force of a cosmic event, not as destruction, but as a definitive and unavoidable awakening. This eruption is not an external cataclysm, but an internal revolution. It is the sudden, often disorienting, collapse of the internal structures that once successfully contained the signal. The carefully constructed dam of your old identity, built with the bricks of I should, they expect, and this is just the way it is, can no longer hold back the volume of truth-seeking expression. It fractures, and the long, blocked waters of your authentic being surge forth, not as a gentle stream, but as a powerful, cleansing torrent. This can feel like a crisis. Relationships, careers, and long-held beliefs that were built upon the old, blocked foundation may suddenly feel alien, confining, or utterly false. This is not a sign that you are breaking. It is evidence that what was false within you is shattering to make way for what is real. The eruption marks the irreversible transition from the whisper to a cosmic force. The personal longing for meaning now reveals itself as the universe's own imperative for expression. Your desire for peace becomes a conduit for universal peace to anchor itself in your environment. Your individual creativity becomes the specific channel through which the creative intelligence of the cosmos brings forth new forms. The force moving through you is no longer personal, it is transpersonal. It has the power of a tidal wave, yet the precision of a laser. It can dismantle a lifelong pattern in a moment of stunning clarity. It can inspire a work of art that seems to channel a wisdom far beyond your own education. It can compel you to speak a truth you didn't even know you knew, a truth that heals and liberates everyone who hears it. This is why the message could no longer be blocked. The universe itself has a vested interest in its delivery. The pressure had built to a point where the integrity of the vessel, your conscious life, required that it be released, not for you alone, but for the whole of the conscious field you touch. You are the point of eruption, and the lava that flows is the liquid light of transformed consciousness destined to reshape the landscape of your world. Destined to reshape the landscape of your world. This reshaping begins with your conscious alignment. The eruption of truth is not the end of the journey, but the beginning of a new and more conscious phase of co-creation. The cosmic force now flowing through you is intelligent and purposeful, but it does not override your individual will. It awaits your conscious cooperation. This is the sacred partnership, the I am of the infinite meeting the I am of your individual awareness in a collaborative dance. Your role is not to generate the power, but to provide the conduit. Your conscious alignment is the act of deliberately, moment by moment, choosing to be that clear and willing conduit for whatever expression of life is seeking to emerge through you now. This alignment is not a single monumental decision, but a continuous, gentle adjustment of your inner posture. It is the practice of moving from a state of resistance to a state of allowance. Resistance is the ego's last stand. Its instinctive tightening against the unfamiliar power of the flow. It manifests as doubt, fear, the urge to control outcomes, or the desire to retreat back into the comfort of the known, even if that known was a prison. Allowance, in contrast, is a relaxed, open-hearted, and alert attention to the present moment. It is the inner yes. It is the quiet commitment to remain present and porous, to let the intelligence of life think through your mind, to let its compassion feel through your heart, to let its strength act through your body. You align not by striving to be spiritual, but by surrendering the separate, striving self and consenting to be used for a purpose that you may not fully comprehend, but that you can absolutely trust. This conscious alignment is your first active response to the awakened knowledge of who you are. It is how you ground the cosmic eruption into the practical reality of your daily life. It is the difference between being a passive witness to the flow and becoming an active participant in its direction. You align when, in the midst of a difficult conversation, you pause to listen for a wisdom deeper than your reactive mind. You align when you choose gratitude over grievance, not as a positive thinking technique, but as a tuning fork that brings your being into harmony with the fundamental frequency of abundance. You align when you perform the most mundane task with a sacred attention, infusing the ordinary with the extraordinary significance of divine service. Every moment of alignment, no matter how small, strengthens the conduit, widens the channel, and increases the volume and clarity of the signal. It is a cumulative process. Each conscious yes makes the next yes easier until your entire life gradually becomes a single, sustained affirmation of the one life you are. This is the practical spirituality of the chosen one, not residing on a mountaintop in blissful isolation, but standing firmly in the marketplace of human experience, a living, breathing, focused point of contact between heaven and earth, allowing the message that was once blocked to now flow unimpeded into a world that is waiting for its touch.